Football,
lot of
good
busy,
football weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of football.
It
a lot
was
of family, a lot of working.
In my corner of the world, it was a wonderful football weekend. Teresa, how was your Thanksgiving? How was
It
your
was
holiday?
lovely. A lot of family.
Lots of family. Well, hey, good thing you love your family, right?
Yes,
Otherwise, it
yeah.
could have been a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Hey, welcome everybody. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday wherever you're coming to us from. And so we're going to spend a little time diving into AI marketing strategies for manufacturers. In particular, we're going to be discussing, we have this wonderful little sassy, Damon, we're getting sassy at 60. Teresa, that's our new thing. Like we're getting sassy at 60. So we've created this little new SaaS tool. It's our digital game plan. And we're going to dive in particular, we want to dive into like how important it is narrowing your focus, ideal buyers, that type of thing. Teresa, any as we pull up, any insights, any thoughts that you have as far as like diving into like your ideal buyers and narrowing your focus?
Well, I think that's what helps in the end to generate content, because once you've really locked into who your ideal buyer is and also like who your, like best ideal buyer is, that's the person that you want to talk to when you create the content, because you can't create content for everyone.
That's right. Damon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's like Teresa said, you got to know who you're talking to.
Right. Well, hey, speaking of buyers, how about this wonderful, amazing human being? So, hey, happy for all those that had a wonderful football weekend. So, Diane, it's going to be a great week for your Eagles this week. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. We're going to have a good week this week. So giving a shout out. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for stopping by. Guys, drop us a comment. Let us know you're there if you have any questions whatsoever. So speaking of, I'm going to pull up an example. So let's go here. So I've got the digital game plan. You guys ready? You sitting down? You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm. Ready to go.
Okay, let's go here. And all right, have you guys ever heard? So speaking of football, Damon, have you ever heard of the New York Jets? Did you know they have a football team in New York?
I heard they had a football team, and it's questionable the performance.
That's right. So hey, lots of love and respect to our friends and our New York Jets fans. Teresa, did you know New York has a football team?
A little. My husband's from New York. Yeah.
So he knows about these guys, the Jet. All right. So this is our little SaaS tool. It's a software tool. It's our digital game plan. And what's cool is it goes out and it reads a website and it provides information like a little bit of a marketing strategy on that particular company. Now, Damon, you're going to get a kick out of this. So like here, dynamic special teams performance, engaged digital community, compelling video content. Then I come down here and it says celebration of team heritage. So it does a great job of like celebrating, things in the past. But the funny thing is that when I come over here, it says, can you see that line right there?
Yep. Overemphasis on past glories. Yep.
Did you notice the user up here, Damon, by any chance? Do you recognize that name?
Joe. Yes.
So Joe Namath actually came onto our software tool, and so like there's nobody out there that's probably old enough to even recognize that name. Teresa, do you recognize that
actually do. One of my husband's fraternity brothers was a huge fan.
That's right. So Joe Namath, God, what a great player he was. So it was just interesting how this tool, it says how they they oversize past glories. Man, I hope we're not hurting anybody's feelings out there for our New York. We love the New York Jets. So, but what was interesting, I thought we would pull up like just a national brand that people are familiar with. Yeah. And so what I want to do is I want to step into like buyer personas. And so when we go here, so we call those buyer personas soulmates. Teresa, when I say soulmate, like what crosses your mind when we're talking about like a buyer persona? What comes to your mind?
Someone that is a good match for you. I think that's the best way that I can think of that.
That's right. Like an ideal buyer who's your best fit. Damon, any thoughts that you want to add? What do you have?
It is. It's the people that see the most value from what you do.
Exactly. So for example, I thought this tool was pretty handy. It went out and it said like, hey, how about Samantha Rivera from Pepsi, right? Pepsi be a great, sponsor, good lead source for our friends at the New York Jets. And so what this tool does is it does a deep dive in gaining an understanding of Samantha Rivera and like, what are her challenges? What are her frustrations? And what information do we need to know about her to help her make a buying decision? So Teresa, not to put you on the spot, is there anything in particular that stands out to you as kind of looking at the digital game plan, looking at this buyer persona? Anything in particular?
I'm not sure. The age, like, is that what?
Yeah, so like going through here, like the buying process,
Oh, yeah.
factors that would influence her, it's
Mhm.
like those are the types of things. So like, for our small manufacturing friends, works the exact same way. And so, Damon, before I'm going to slide over to the Soulmate Success Path, anything that jumps out to you looking at this buyer persona, anything particular stands out?
Well, I think your factors influencing buying decisions down there is one of and the roles in the buying process, right? Because, the factors influencing buying decisions is really some of the things that you need to be communicating with them from from the New York Giants perspective. You would need to be talking about those things and showing your soulmate how your product or service helps them in those factors. And then the role in the buying process does change. We've got some industrial companies that have multiple people. They may have an engineer, then they've got a buyer, then they've got an executive, and all three of those people need to be part of the journey. And each one of them is concerned about different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing, what I love here is like this, looking at frustrations, right?
Yeah.
And so we think about think of the product, the problem that you solve, the solutions that you provide for your ideal customers, and what are the frustrations that they're going through. I know the cliche is like, hey, the pain, what's keeping you up at night, but that's exactly what we're trying to do is like, hey, what is keeping you up at night and how can we solve those problems, right? So the more that we understand that, so like in this example here, like, hey, we have difficulties measuring sponsorship impact, Pepsi spends millions and millions of dollars with the NFL. What type of impact do they get?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How does it come back?
How does it come back? So let's dive into the buyer journey. Right? And the thing is, like, Damon, what we love to say is like, I don't like the buyer journey per se, because nobody really particularly likes to buy. They want to be successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Teresa, when we were working with different clients, we're diving into their frustrations, and there's a line that you always love, the easy button.
Easy button, yeah.
Right?
Like, make it easy for them.
Elaborate a little bit from your perspective, like the different clients that you work with and your perspective, like what does that mean, the easy button?
Well, I think it means speaking, like what you were saying is that they have certain pain points. So we are trying to, in our messaging, give that particular person an easy path to success, so that they understand it and so that we're speaking to that issue with them. And I think by, like you just showed, like keying into that buyer and who's going to be making decisions, we need to really speak to that person, but also show them that it's something like we have an easy fix for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Damon, what do you want to add? You on mute?
Sorry. The easy button really is, as Teresa said, it's giving them an easy path, understanding the way to go. Because most people, if you know where we're going, the path, they can get there. Right. And that's where the easy button, I think, from our standpoint with the Soulmate Success Path, it shows people what they should be talking about and some of these questions that are going to be asked in the process.
Yeah. And we just went through this personally. So like, this is our new software tool that we're promoting here. And so like, we had to hire out an agency to build this. I don't do coding. Damon, do you do coding?
Nope.
Teresa, do you do? No, you're right. So we had to hire this out, and so the thing is, we put it out to several companies for bid, and we went through that due diligence process. And I'll tell you, the agency that we selected was the one that really brought it down to our level. They spoke our language. They understood, like, hey, I told them, like, I am the dumbest guy in the room, and please speak to me as such. Like, it's not even like, don't speak to me like an 8-year-old, speak to me like a 57-year-old that knows nothing, And so the company that came in that really nurtured that whole process, that's who earned our trust, and that's who we went with. So here, hey, Damon, a couple comments here. What do we got from Diane Byer?
Absolutely love this. Thanks, Diane.
And we're sending love right back to her. And she says,
can't implement solutions without fully understanding the pain points and problems.
That's right. Hey, she's got one more.
Oh, and then she goes, the easy button. That really means work smarter, not harder. And yeah,
man, if I could have learned that like 30 years ago, geez, maybe I'd retire someday, Damon. But
well, I always tell people that I love to work hard to be lazy, right? I mean, it really is. Right. The initial work of building out your process, how you're going to do this stuff, seeing these things is a bit of work, but the result down the road is you have a really focused way of doing your marketing after that.
Right, exactly. So let's all right, let me come back here. And all right, so as we take a peek at this, this is the buying journey, buying process, whatever we want to call it. And again, like I'm just not a big fan of like, hey, the buyer journey. I know you out there, you are dedicated to your customer success. So let's get them on we call it the soulmate success path. And so these are the 5 different steps of the buying process, if you will, the evaluation process, the awareness stage. Teresa, I'm going to start with you. You do a lot of social media with your clients, and it's really kind of like, hey, that top awareness, getting messaging out there. This is very broad, but any insight that you have as far as like working with different clients, like making that awareness, what are any tips, suggestions, ideas? What crosses your mind?
I think it kind of goes back to what you're talking about, the soulmate success path. You need to be able to hook them in a way that person that you're trying to speak to is receptive. Like you're asking questions to make sure like that person wants to answer. But yeah, because you can't speak to everyone, you really do need to kind of hone that even in a higher level, you need to hone that message in to a particular person.
Yeah, exactly. Damon, any thoughts? And if you take a look here, so this is the 5 stages. We're looking at the awareness stage, and this is for the New York Jets. Mr. Joe Namath actually filled this out, Damon. I can't believe it. I'm so excited that Joe filled this out. And who knew that he was looking for the soulmate success path for the Jets? But you look at the trigger here, right? What stands out? Is there anything particular out of all these lines? Anything that stands out in particular for you?
Well, I think one of them to me is the internal push for digital fan engagement innovation, right? And it is really how you differentiate yourself, because that would really be a differentiator, especially if you're something in as high a level as the NFL. If your team came out with something drastically different that really changed your fan engagement, it could reshape the way that you operate.
Yeah, I totally agree. Teresa, anything that you want to add to that?
No. I think that's a great idea. I think it's helping businesses become more aware of what you have to offer and how you can speak to who they're looking for. Sports partnership leaders. Yeah, I think it's very helpful.
Yeah.
I have these questions there for you.
Yeah. And so I found this fascinating. We're kind of in the thick of football season here in the States. And when you think, and Damon, I hadn't thought of this before, and I was eager to hear your response, but, so what this tool does, it kind of gets inside the mind of your soulmate, that ideal buyer. How do we get them on that success path? And I had not thought of LinkedIn, but right here, it says like, hey, a LinkedIn search for sports partnership leads, right?
Yeah.
And as I was going through their digital game plan, they're recommending LinkedIn multiple times, and it makes perfect sense, right? Because if I'm at the Jets and I want to try to, as a matter of fact, their home run, let me go back here. If I go to their home run, guess who their home run is? Amazon. Yeah. Amazon is one of their home run clients right here. So right there. Amazon, Pepsi, Lids, and Rally House. But Amazon over here. So if I go to the soulmate success path for their home run, which is Amazon, and I go to search, I'm like, hey, maybe I need to be on LinkedIn connecting with executives at Amazon. I hadn't even thought of that. What's your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, it is when you are in the B2B tail space, or the B2B space, you really don't want to neglect LinkedIn, because that is, especially in public companies, right? Because those people have personal brands they need to develop and curate and keep track of. I mean, it could be a very good place for you to be searching for and building relationships with these people.
Yeah. So just fascinating. Had not thought of that. I found that really intriguing. And so we'll start winding down and close out on this. What's great is this tool provides like, hey, here's some suggestions. And I'm sure, the marketing acumen and just a market machine that the NFL is, I'm sure they're way ahead of this, but I just found this portion pretty interesting. Global case studies on digital fan engagement, like maybe if I'm at the Jets, I'm studying what's going on in, overseas global soccer or cricket, or, how can I separate myself from the rest of the NFL teams and come up with some new and unique strategies, executive level partnership briefings, that type of thing. Teresa, as we close out, anything that stands out to you, any thoughts that you want to share for our friends as we're diving into that buyer journey, if you will, that soulmate success path, and narrowing down your focus? What are your thoughts?
Well, I really always love to see these case studies, because I always find that it ends up kind of intuitively giving me something that I thought, but if I had taken all that time to do the research, I don't know, it would have taken me days to try to figure out. Like, and I think that's always the hardest part is, who is your ideal buyer? Like, where are they hanging out? And what are some ideas to speak to them authentically? And that's one of the reasons why I like the digital game plan is I feel like it kind of gives you all that data pretty quickly, so that you can then start making your plan to go forward.
Yep. And Damon, we've got a comment here if you want to grab this one.
Yeah, Abdullah says, totally agree with your point, but what if all of these are known to us and that why we were reaching out to them, then that's why we were reaching out to them, but still the other person's prior experience wasn't well and they aren't comfortable to move further. Well, that's something, honestly, that almost every company, I can tell you that it doesn't matter what you're doing, they probably have a bad marketing experience of one sort or another.
Yeah.
And that really is about, I think, is diving into the deep details and saying, yes, acknowledging that, and then going, this is why specifically it is different. This is why specifically you should expect different results from this because of what you did last time. I mean, it could be, there's just so many examples of that, but you really have to get into that differentiation between everyone else and you and why it's a different result.
And I think, kind of our time. So Abdullah, thank you for the question.
Yeah,
I hope you're having a wonderful, amazing, incredible day today. Thank you for stopping by. Excellent question. And something to consider is like, as a matter of fact, we had a client situation recently where like we had to politely pass, and we're going to share it with another expert because it got out of our wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, if you're just 100% certain, like this is a great fit, there's nobody on the planet better than us. I think, Teresa, to like your point, the case study, the research, the expertise that you can share to kind of earn that person's trust. And we've had a lot of clients that like, hey, we were recently burnt by this other firm, this other agency. And like, nobody wants to be burnt that second time. So I think you've got to put in a little bit more, you got to work a little harder to earn that trust. But I love the case studies. Teresa, anything that you want to add from Abdullah's question? Any thoughts there?
No, I think that is really a good idea. And again, it's identifying those kind of pain points and, having like a counter measure for them, like as you're going forward.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do that.
And maybe Abdullah, something to think about is like, if possible, okay, I'm not saying that it is, but if possible, have a conversation with that person. If it's face to face, treat them to a cup of coffee, lunch, or whatever. Try to build that relationship and say, hey, share with me what happened. Where did it go wrong? How could I prevent this from happening a second time? Not to disparage the previous firm or whatever, just like let us know like what went south and what's everything that we need to do on our team to help prevent it. So that might be something to share. That's been Damon, that's something that we've done with our clients when they've come in for like an e-commerce project and been burnt. Damon, as we close out, any parting thoughts, words of wisdom that you want to share as we wind down?
Well, I mean, it always pays to really understand who your best buyers are. It does. And more about their pain points and more about everything, because, you can go out and try to market to everyone and it's going to be very low success rate. But if you market to the right people, your success rate goes up considerably and you get to work with people that really value what you do.
Yep. Hey, drop the mic, Damon. That was awesome. Teresa, we cannot express our thanks and gratitude for joining us. Any parting thoughts, words of wisdom that you want to share with the digital game plan or kind of going through this process of narrowing down your ideal buyer? What are your takeaways?
Well, kind of to piggyback on what Damon said is to market to the right people and to also try to speak their language. And what they're looking for, because I think people get excited about selling their product, but they speak in their language, and you really want to speak to the customer's language and what their specific pain points are.
Yeah, and hey, and shamelessly, I'm going to share this super cool. We'll close out on this. So I really enjoyed some of these. So we have a content calendar that is created with a digital game plan, and as we wind down, as we're talking about like you're working at the New York Jets, and you're like, hey, we need, we're not having a great season. We need to we need to work on our sponsorships. And right here, it kind of ties in what you were mentioning, Teresa. Like, Jets digital sponsorship opportunities. What brands need to know? And like over here, building a legacy, global partnerships with the New York Jets. Jets fan community. How to stay connected and get more from your experience. So like here, they want to go like beyond just the game. It's like how can we create that camaraderie, the fandom, whatever you want to call it. But I thought this was kind of neat how the tool spit this out for our friends at the New York Jets. And Damon, if they got into the digital game plan, I think they go undefeated next year. That's just my humble opinion. What do you think?
No, I'm not going to weigh in.
Okay. Not going to happen. I'm like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't think so? Okay. All right. Well, it's wishful thinking anyway. So, all right, we'll start winding down. Guys, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you for everybody else out there that joined us. Teresa, we want to give. Hey, how about a round of applause for Teresa for joining us?
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
She had her daughter home from college. She had a great weekend this weekend. And so here she joined us. So, guys, we're going to close out. We're back here Friday. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have an amazing, incredible rest of your week. If you have any questions, reach out to Teresa. She's on LinkedIn. Damon, I think you're on LinkedIn once in a while, right?
Once in a while.
Yep. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. So join us. Stop by B2B Tail. Sign up for our newsletter, the secret sauce, right, Damon?
Yes.
It's a great newsletter.
Yeah, and you can visit Kurt's profile, my profile. We got links there to sign up for the newsletter. So
yep.
Go ahead
and
do
stop by B2B Tail. And one last thing, Abdullah, what do we got here, Damon?
He said, appreciate it, guys. It's great to have more and more knowledge from professionals like yourself and hope we might cross our paths in the near future. Hey, thank you, Abdullah.
Hey,
thank you.
Abdullah, I'm going to tell my mom that somebody called me professional today. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. So, all right, guys.
Your like best ideal buyer is. That's the person that you want to talk to when you create the content, because you can't create content for everyone.
That's right. Damon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you